This animated data visualization lays out the underlying mechanics for Pokédex entry number 072, Tentacool, and its evolution, Tentacruel. The numbers are highly specific: an attack stat of 178, a speed of 238, and a hard-coded evolution parameter set exactly at level 30. Looking at their combat profile, you see water and poison type designations, alongside a natural moveset that includes Wrap and Hydro Pump. Mechanically, this is just harmless game code: ink, cardboard, and pixels designed to entertain children. Despite existing entirely as a fictional animated jellyfish, this specific creature became a massive broadcast liability for global television networks. In 2001, the 19th episode of the anime series, titled Tentacool and Tentacruel, was abruptly ripped from television rotation. 4 years later, it was pulled from the airwaves a second time. A string of video game code does not cause physical harm. But examining how a cartoon monster becomes a taboo subject reveals the highly fragile boundary between fictional entertainment and real-world trauma. In the plot of episode 19, a giant tentacruel attacks a major metropolis, using its tentacles to tear through skyscrapers and crush infrastructure. When the episode originally broadcast in 1997, it aired without a single issue. After the September 11th attacks, networks realized that broadcasting a massive entity destroying tall buildings was highly triggering to an audience processing actual, real-world destruction. The episode was immediately pulled. Networks eventually reinstated the broadcast, only to pull it again in 2005. Following Hurricane Katrina, animated scenes of a water-based entity flooding a city and destroying buildings mirrored the reality of submerged cars and ruined neighborhoods far too closely. Tentacruel is the most famous example, but it is not an isolated incident. Stickshell moves and plot lines consistently take on horrific new contexts when the real-world timing is bad. In 2004, an episode featuring the Pokémon Whiscash using a move called Earthquake was scheduled to air. The Chuetsu earthquake struck Japan just days prior, collapsing roads and leveling homes, resulting in the episode being banned entirely. A high-stakes two-part storyline involving the villainous Team Plasma destroying a city was permanently scrapped due to the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. The scale of the coastal debris field left behind made broadcasting urban destruction unthinkable. 3 years later, an episode centered around characters exploring a sunken passenger ship was pulled from its time slot. The MV Sewol ferry had just sunk, and the severe human toll, specifically among high school students, required the network to delay the broadcast. External disasters forced broadcasters into a state of rapid, reactive censorship. Standard cartoon tropes transform instantly into painful reflections of recent tragedies. Before unpredictable natural disasters dictated the broadcast schedule, the franchise was already suffering from self-inflicted production wounds. During the infamous 1997 Den no Senshi Porygon incident, animators used intense, alternating red and blue flashes to depict an explosion. The jarring lighting effect provoked epileptic seizures and hospitalized hundreds of children across Japan. Character designs also created massive liabilities. The Pokémon Jynx and later Passimian were pulled from Western rotation because their visual features heavily mirrored racist blackface stereotypes. In The Legend of Miniru, animators placed a realistic Colt revolver into the hands of a safari warden, who points it directly at the children in the show. The baffling inclusion of firearms rendered the episode completely unairable for family audiences outside Japan. Before the world forced the anime to adapt to global tragedies, the show was routinely tripping over its own tone-deaf cultural misjudgments. Returning to this data visualization, a fictional move like Hydro Pump or Earthquake is mechanically just a damage value in a vacuum. It calculates an abstract numeric impact on an imaginary opponent. When translated to a global television broadcast, media loses that vacuum. The imagery is consumed by real people who have just watched their own streets flood or felt their own homes shake. Over decades, the anime evolved from a quirky 90s cartoon making amateur mistakes into a heavily managed global property, forced to carefully navigate a world of unpredictable events. This high-alert reactivity continues today. When the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the globe, producers immediately delayed new episodes of the Pokémon Journey series, pulling back their schedule to accommodate the crisis. Removing or delaying these episodes is, strictly speaking, a form of censorship, but the motivations driving those decisions have shifted entirely from hiding production errors to protecting audiences. Pulling an episode acts as a bizarre but genuine form of cultural empathy. It serves as proof that even in a highly controlled world of fictional pocket monsters, reality always has the final say.